Hello, and welcome to Super Cup 2017. My name is Adam Zawada, and thank you very much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We know we have been running into some issues with our upload speeds. So we do know that the picture is a bit breaky and the frames per second isn't great. We do apologize for that. We are trying to fix it, and we are also recording all the games, so make sure that when we upload them this evening, you can make sure to catch all the games that you missed today. We have started the games for the day so far. Earlier we had Eastern Cape versus Gauteng Men's 2 and Asala Libreville versus KwaZulu-Natal. We are very close to starting off the second round of games, which is KwaZulu-Natal kicking off against Gauteng Men's 2. Remember to go to www.paintballresults.com, and in the pit zone will give you all your live scoring and exactly everything you need to know. The weather, rainy at best, rain all day. I mean, wow, it didn't stop at all. Let's hope it doesn't affect today's play too much. And I mean, as hard as the rain had tried to dampen the players' spirits, it hasn't failed. Everyone is still smiling here at this 2017 Super Cup and still very keen to go. Again, we do apologize if the frame rate is a bit poor on your computer. If you can see what is happening, we are going to be looking at, I must still find out, Gauteng Men's 2 is playing right to left of your screen, and KwaZulu-Natal will be left to right. So that game should kick off in a few seconds. Make sure not to miss anything as well. You are watching the African Federations Cup on Friday the 8th of December at the Paintball Super Cup 2017. A quick rundown of your teams in this tournament is the Gauteng Under-19s, the KwaZulu-Natal Men's, Gauteng Men's 2, Western Province, Eastern Cape Men's, and Gauteng Men's. So those are the teams for the African Federation, the Afcon Cup, so to speak. My name is Adam Zawada, and I will be your commentator for the Super Cup. I will be going forward for the whole weekend once things queue out. But we're going to take a quick breather, and we'll come right back when the game kicks off. The countdown is beginning. KwaZulu-Natal from your left to right, and Gauteng Men's 2. A bigger break from KZN and a huge break, more of a defensive break, so to speak, from Gauteng Men's 2. The Snake 1 being occupied straight off the bat by KwaZulu-Natal. They've also got the Tall Temple very well controlled, and Gauteng now sliding into Snake 1 on the right hand side of the field. I can't really tell what's going on the Dorito side, but a lot of gunfire being exchanged across the map. If we can see there, we can just off your screen, KwaZulu-Natal have lost a player out of the Tall Temple Snake side corner. Gauteng Men are losing players as well. The communication is very good on the Gauteng Men side. KwaZulu-Natal struggling to get their communication up and running. moving up into that snake 50. They've also got a man on the wall, as do KwaZulu-Natal, so there might be an exchange coming up right there. Lots of covering fire from the KwaZulu-Natal team, laying down the back of that temple. The Gauteng's men's side taking stock, taking time, making sure to run out a bit of the clock to see what happens. KZN loses their 50 wall man straight up in the thing. Gauteng men's moving up great, and they've knocked everyone over. Would you look at that? They're moving up slowly to try and concede the point. There is still some gunfire going around. And Gauteng men's seems to take that point. They're moving up. They're going to go get checked by the refs. And Gauteng men's take the first point between KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng men's. Point confirmed, as you just heard there. It was a nice attack by Gauteng men's. A very defensive break compared to KwaZulu-Natal, who came out very hot and seemed to pay the price for it. Getting checked by the refs there. And yes, point confirmed. Remember, you are watching the Super Cup from the beautiful Emerald City Casino in Vanderbijl Park, right here, just south of Joburg. A wonderful casino. This map that's set up, or course rather, looks brilliant. Nice and soft grass for a lot of the players to be moving around in. This is great.
30 seconds.
Point approved. Now, next we have Eastern Cape and Western Province to duke it out. I must just find out which side is which, and we'll move forward from there. Eastern Cape on the left to the right with a bit of a slow break, but then Western Province coming out more aggressively. They've got the two Temple men holding firm at the back centre. Eastern Cape in that first snake position there, laying down the covering fire on this near side. Western Province also moving a snake player up in a very aggressive move forward. Both teams taking their time, exchanging a lot of fire here at the Emerald Casino Super Cup 2017. So far, can't tell who's lost who. A lot of action happening on this near snake side. Snake 1 occupied by both Western Cape and Eastern Cape on the left and right respectively. They still have players in the defensive centre position of the temple. A bit of a lull in the play there, but then moving up very nicely just off screen, you can't quite tell, in the snake 2 position for Eastern Cape. Setting himself firmly, and then also on for Western Province, we can now see him moving up into the snake 2 position. A lot of fire being exchanged between the two. On the Dorito side of the field, though, there is a bit of action happening. We have to see how that pans out. A lot of action more on the snake side, with a lot of attention being focused between Eastern Cape and Western Province. You could call this an east-west derby rather than a north versus south. This isn't Blue Bulls in Western Province, but it will have to do today. Both teams playing a bit defensively, trying to find out the best way forward without dropping bodies. On your screen now, you can see Eastern. Is that Eastern Cape? Yes, that is the Eastern Cape player playing very defensive. Also there in the snake corner, you can see those players on the big wide angle very close to one another. Even if it is the wide shot, I can assure you it is within a stone's throw. They are moving up very aggressively. They're going to have an exchange. There we go. And the Gauteng men's players won that exchange, and the Eastern Cape player is out. The current body count at the moment looks like it's a 2-1 scenario in Gauteng men's, not Gauteng men's, Western Province's favour, but we're going to have to see what they do with that advantage. The game has slowed down a little bit to an extent. No one at the 50 wall whatsoever, so everyone playing down the lanes, either down the middle or on the snake side, with the Dorito side seeming to be left open. Eastern Province are playing, Eastern Cape rather, playing very defensively, having less men on the field, making sure that they try and eat some of this time up to see how it pans out. Western Province not taking advantage and playing still defensively themselves, but a lot of fire being exchanged across the map. It seems that the 45 lines have opened up from the Snake to the Dorito side, where they're having a go at one another, and we'll have to see. No one's been dropped out for a while yet. Western Province playing a bit defensively as well as Easterns. On your screen you can see some of the other teams getting ready to prep into the next round, and also watching their respective provinces see what they can do. On the far Dorito 50 side, you can now see, I have no idea what team that is, I apologize. You can then see the action moving there, as well as the Western Province still on Snake side, keeping the pressure down the line. There's your game time, 6 minutes 13, and it's still the first round these two have duked out with very little success. Western's losing a player there on the Snake side. Not lost, sorry, I apologize. He's moving up. It seems that Western Province have taken out Eastern Cape, and he's moving up to take the point. And there you hear it, point confirmed. Western Province 1, Eastern Cape 0. There should be still about 6 minutes left of that round. So the point was conceded by Easterns. Yes, the point was conceded by Easterns, so Western Province take the first point up. Now we're going to have African, in your Afcon Cup, we have Gauteng Men's 2 and KwaZulu-Natal. KZN going right to left, and Gauteng Men's left to right. It's quite a defensive break by Gauteng Men's, making sure they're sticking in their temples. They do have a player, as you can see, running up to the 50. KwaZulu-Natal keeping firm, keeping strong. They've lost a player down the middle, unfortunately. Gauteng Men moving up into the Snake 1 position. Should just be on your screen now. They're trying to sneak up. They do have only the one man and not the corner pocket set. But KZN do have 2 men down that line with a lot of firing covering that Snake position. Also, KZN have the Dorito 1 position on lockdown, throwing some 45-degree fire across the field to the back center, where Gauteng still have a few players laying down that fire. In a very dominant position there, Gauteng Men's 2 taking their time moving forward. Both teams do seem to be losing some men though. KZN still in Dorito 1. And then you can see on your screen now they have the 2 players there on the Snake side at the tall can, and then the temple in the corner on Snake side. A lot of fire being thrown down the Snake side. Gauteng trying to move up. He seems to have done quite well. Taken one out in the corner. He's moving up well, throwing that covering fire into the temple. Oh, and there he gets shot down. Gauteng loses a man on the Snake side. They do not have a Snake runner. KZN loses another man out on Dorito 2 on the right hand side. Gauteng moving up past the wall into KZN territory, completely up to KZN's Dorito 1, throwing it across into the temple. And it seems they've lost all the men. Gauteng are moving up to take the point. Well done, very nicely. A controlled play by Gauteng Men's 2 there. KZN seemed to hold them off for as long as they could, but then struggled to put down the fire to make sure to grab that point. He's waiting to see what happens now. Yeah, they seem to be wasting time, Gauteng to see, and KZN not conceding the point, which would probably be the smarter thing to do now. Still not checked by the refs. They're still running down time. If KZN doesn't wise up to this, they are biting themselves poorly. The time is still running. As a reminder is that Gauteng Men's 2 is 1-0 up. Time is still going. And there you hear it. Point is conceded. 30 seconds. Point is approved to Gauteng Men's 2. KZN eventually wising up to the time wasting technique there. So Gauteng Men's lead the way. 20 seconds. 0 at the moment. What we're looking at now then will be an Eastern Cape Western Province duke off, which means that Eastern Cape will be right to left of your screen, Western Province left to right. Western Province with a very aggressive break. One in Snake, one in Dorito, no man on the 50. On your Eastern Cape side, they've played it a bit more defensively. They do have a man up at the 50 wall, throwing down 45 into the Snake, but only those two. They have moved the player into Snake 1 as well. Eastern Cape are playing a lot more defensively compared to Western Cape. Western Cape have slowed down from their original hot break. They do have a Snake 1 position in there. You can see on the screen now, actually, they've got the respective players in Snake 1, Snake 2. So we'll have to see what happens. It doesn't look like anyone's dropped at the moment, though, with a lot of gunfire being thrown out. There you can see the Western Province player in Snake 2. Both teams being rather defensive, not moving players up very aggressively yet, but Eastern Cape player, sorry, Western Province, no, sorry, yes, Eastern Cape player moving into the corner temple there to throw down covering fire down in the Snake line to make sure that the Eastern Cape can't move up aggressively in that line. Eastern Cape still have not lost their player at the wall on the 50, making sure he's throwing down that 45 fire on the Dorito and Snake side, tending to move left and right very aggressively. Snake seeing a lot of action still, no doubt about that. Western Province player moves up to the Snake 50, almost at the Snake 50, sorry. Communication on the Eastern Cape side very strong, as you can constantly hear them talking to one another, communicating. Eastern Cape is still with a man in the 50, looking strong, laying down that 45 onto that Snake 2 position of the of Western Province player. In your screen, you can see how close these players are without even realizing it themselves, because they cannot tell what is going on, who is where, and who is shooting who, essentially. It seems that off the break, that Eastern Cape tactic to move straight up to the wall has really paid up well, as he's laid down a lot of fire down to make sure that the Western Province have been controlled. It does seem that Western Province have lost their Snake player, allowing Easterns to slowly move up, playing the 45 into the back temple, moving up a bit more aggressively, which leads me to believe that they do tend to have the bodies. They've got 2 on the Snake and 1 at the wall. This is Eastern Cape. Western Province, I actually have no idea. I can't tell where their player is. As you can see, Eastern moving up into that Snake 2, almost to the 50, and they've got 2 players right in the middle there. Yes, playing towards that back temple. They've got 2 on the 50, the Eastern Cape, looking very powerful. It looks like a 3-to-1 setup. Yes, moving up nicely. Seems that they have completely eliminated the Western Cape. Move up. They're getting checked by the looks of it, or they're going to wait on the time. Very nicely done. That is a point to the Eastern Cape. A very good comeback. They started well. Very strong showing there, making sure that they tying the score 1-1 at the moment. We must also remember that their breakout was a lot more calm, a lot more controlled, and it showed in the fact that they then took away the point at the end of the round.
Approved. 30 seconds.
There's your break. Gauteng men's 2 playing right to left. with KwaZulu-Natal left to right. It was a bit of a calm break by both teams. Gauteng moving a player up to the 50 wall. Nothing yet. Gauteng not losing a player yet. They have a player in the Dorito and the Tall Temple on the Snake side. Remember, that score at the moment is 2-0 to Gauteng men's 2 with about 5 minutes left in this round to be played. KwaZulu-Natal making sure they're playing their centre defensive very well. They have a player up in Dorito 1 and the Tall Temple in the back of their half of the field. Doesn't seem that there's many Snake players happening, so the tactic seems to have changed since the previous round to make sure that they want to play more on the Dorito side. Gauteng, you can see with a player there in the 50. On screen now is the KwaZulu-Natal player at the Tall Rocket. There in the background you could also see the Doritos player, making sure that he did very well to make sure that covering fire is laying across. Gauteng just losing a man. I can't tell who it is, but they have on the Snake side, on the Tall Temple, they have a player shooting across the field. And they don't have their 50 wall man anymore. So Gauteng playing very defensively with a 2-0 lead. They have 3 bodies up at the moment. I can't see KZN's at the moment. They look like they're 3-2. A bit of an exchange happening there, but no one out by the looks of it. The communication on Gauteng's men's side has been great so far. You can really tell they're communicating really well with one another. Finally, Gauteng making some moves into the Snake 2 position, almost up to the 50. Let's see how aggressive he gets. They still look like they have 3 bodies on the field, and KZN have 2 from what I can tell. The clock is winding down to about just shy of 4 minutes at the moment. Oh, there we go.
Towel.
Point conceded.
30 seconds.
Conceded. Gauteng men's win 3-0. Two seconds full break. There we go. A very aggressive break by Western Cape on your right hand side. Eastern Cape will be coming in from the left to right. Western Province have a player in Snake 2 and a man on the 50 wall, looking very good at the moment. That score at the moment is 1-1 with 2 minutes left on the clock. So this Afcon game are getting very tight at the moment. So whoever wins this, depending on how the time pans out, should probably take their first game of the day. Remember, you are watching the Super Cup 2017. Don't miss a minute on the live stream on Facebook. Tell your friends, tell your family, Google us, and you can see these guys having a go at one another. In the Snake 50 right there, an Eastern Cape player making sure a lot of pressure is being thrown down. Or is that the angle? Sorry, that is that is a Western Cape player actually on the right hand side of the field. At Dorito 1, an Eastern Cape player with a lot of pressure being set his way. They're playing a lot of 45s at the moment. It does look that Western Cape have 2 bodies at the moment, if not 3. Yes, 3 bodies on at the moment, and Eastern Cape have 2. I lie, Western Cape have 4 bodies. Yes, Western Cape have 4 bodies. They've got a man on the 50, 1 at Snake 2. The rocket right at the back of the field. A lot of fire getting exchanged at Snake because Eastern
60
Province.
seconds.
There you heard 60 seconds left. Still tied 1-1, 60 seconds left. The body's very balanced. An exchange right on the Snake side. Western Province losing a player. The ref checking the Eastern Province player to see if he's still in the game. No call yet, so the Eastern Province player winning that. There is 30 seconds left on the clock. Still 1-1. A few bodies left on both sides. Now starting to play a bit more defensively. After the 60-second call, Western Province did push up to see if they could try and clinch a 1-point winner there. Eastern Cape lose their Snake player. Western Province still have the 50-man wall and then the far back rocket on the Dorito side. So 2 players from what I can tell. The rocket is moving up into Dorito 1 and the 50 wall. It does look though, 5 seconds left. This looks like it's going to be a draw. There we go. Eastern Cape, Western Province at the moment draw 1-1. Very interesting game there, very tight. We'll have to see how that pans out because that then means overtime unless I get corrected on that point.
No, overtime. 30 seconds.
Overtime, yes. So Before that, though, Gauteng men's come back onto the field to face KwaZulu-Natal. On your screen, you can see men's
20
walking
seconds.
to the left-hand side of the field. They're going to be playing left to right with KZN in mostly green. Some of the shirts not matching there, right to left. There is 10 seconds. KZN better hurry if they want to make it. A very aggressive break by KwaZulu-Natal, sending 3 men up to the middle Rockets, halfway up the field. They have a man on the 50. On the Gauteng side, though, they've played it more defensively, keeping 2 men right at the back. KZN losing a player. There you see a Gauteng player moving into the snake side Rocket to make sure that that pocket's covered down the line. Gauteng have lost a man, as have KZN. KZN do have the 50 wall on at the moment. Gauteng being rather defensive at the back pocket, completely off the break, taking their time. There is both players, Gauteng and KZN, on the 50 wall. What you're seeing now is the Gauteng men's 2 player with the KZN just on the other side of the big W. So will there be an exchange in that round? Remember, Gauteng men's 2 are leading this round 2-1 at the moment. There is about just shy of 3 minutes left in this. So if KZN take this, they could come back. There we go. Snake 1 getting lost for Gauteng men, and then be on the wall. KZN also losing a player there. KZN losing a second player on the Dorito side. Some fire being laid down on the Snake side here by the far temple of the Gauteng player, playing very defensively, holding his pockets, trying to dominate the lane, but fire being returned. It does seem the KZN player is on the Snake side Rocket, making sure to throw that fire back all the way 45 to the temple, but it does seem that it is a 2-1 game at the moment. There on screen you can see a very nice view of the KZN player controlling that Snake side corner Rocket. Gauteng still playing very defensive with a man at the far back, right at the breakaway point, holding his ground, not moving up. Time is being eaten here, which then does benefit Gauteng men's too. There's a minute 40 left, so KZN have to do something here, otherwise they're going to go down. If it's not aggressive, they are just eating their own time up and their own ability to come and draw it up. KZN still playing the defensive role, time being eaten away. Fire being exchanged across the... There we go. Finally, KZN moving up into the Snake 1 position. Gauteng still playing rather defensively. But at this rate, it definitely looks that Gauteng men's 2 will take this with a minute 15 left. Holding that back temple straight off the break, Gauteng men's 2 holding firm with a 2-0 lead at the moment. So unless KZN get aggressive, like I mentioned, I don't think they're going to take points away from this.
60 seconds.
You just heard the 60-second mark. KZN clearly already reading that and moving up into Snake 2 position. He's going to try and make it up to the 50 real soon to see what he can do from there. Gauteng is staying firm at the back temple, making sure that there's cover. Oh, a lot of fire gone. Gauteng man gets hit at the back temple. KZN do have the ability now. I'm not sure how many players are left alive. Time will be running out. There's only about 20 to 30 seconds left. There is a Dorito player left. KZN moving up. Yes. There we go. They do have a Dorito player. There you go. KZN claw one back, meaning it's 2-1. The refs will just check him first to make sure to confirm that point. We'll wait for that call. Game time. There's 23 seconds left, apparently, which they will play. But that then means KZN...
Point approved. 30 seconds.
Point approved to KwaZulu-Natal. Very good. I'm waiting for the updates on the website to then see who gets the lead there, because Gauteng men should be drawing it, should be leading 2-1, not 3-0, but we're waiting for the pit zone to update there, and then we'll see what's up.
10 seconds.
Remember, this is 10 seconds into Eastern Cape men's and Western Province men's overtime. So this is going to be a big game. They drew well. 1-1. There they go. Very aggressive by both teams. 2 players on each team going into Snake 1 respectively. They also have a player in on the right hand side of your field. They've got Temple, Dorito 1 and also Snake side on both sides. I don't think they know who's who and where everyone is respectively. Snake 1 being a lot of fire being tossed down the Snake lane. Eastern Cape playing left to right with Western Cape playing right to left. Western Cape have 2 players down the Snake. They lose their first Snake 1 position. There you can see the Eastern Cape player at the left hand, Snake Temple doing very well, laying down covering fire in that lane. Western Cape do have 2 men at the back on at the Temple and then Tall Rocket. Eastern Cape move a player into Snake 2. Western Cape have moved a player into Dorito 1. A lot of fire being thrown down in this round. A Western Cape player being checked by the ref and then being cleared to play, so no hit there. A lot of fire still being thrown down. The players playing very well in this overtime match. Remember, this game was drawn 1-1. If I do stand to be corrected, but that means the winner of this round then wins their first points of the day. Both teams coming, obviously traveling a larger portion of the country to get you compared to some of the locally based teams. So they'll want to start strong at the Super Cup 2017. The Eastern Cape player being checked by the ref at Snake 2 and cleared to play respectively. Ish! The ref takes one in the back. That must have hurt. Let's call it the tricks of the trade. Eastern Cape looking very aggressive, moving up. Yes! And it looks like Eastern Cape have taken it. Well done. It was a very defensive play in the beginning, and then a sudden turn or loss of players on the Western Cape side, meaning the Eastern Cape players are rushed up very aggressively. They've moved up to go get checked by the refs, and then we'll wait for point confirmation.
Point approved. 30 seconds.
Point approved. Eastern Cape win it. It looks like Eastern Cape wins their first points of the day, which is a good thing to hear. They played that round in about 2 minutes 30 seconds. It's another point between Gauteng men's and KwaZulu-Natal men's. Gauteng men's 2, I apologize. That then being 3-1. That's the 10-second countdown. Let's see how this break kicks off. Gauteng men's playing from your right to left. Again, a very defensive break. Nothing too aggressive. Their most aggressive player is only moving up to the 50 now, whilst KwaZulu-Natal have moved up a lot more aggressively. They've got a player up on the 50, so they might be an exchange there. Gauteng moving a player into Snake 2. A lot of fire being crossed apart. I can't see any hits at the moment or players that have been kicked up.
Game finished.
Game finished. That happened very quickly. I'm not sure what happened, to be dead honest with you. Game time ran out. There we go. I got so excited from the breaks that I even lost point of what was happening there. So that essentially means game time run out. Gauteng Bench 2 does win that game 3-2 with 3-1, apologies, with KwaZulu-Natal men's not doing the strongest showing they would have liked to do so far at their first round of the game. That does then mean that your next set of games, which is Western Province versus Africa Gauteng under-19, and then Gauteng men's first team against Asala Libreville is your next set of games. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more commentary and your live feed for the Super Cup 2017. Welcome back to Super Cup 2017 right here from Emerald Casino. For those watching, we do understand that the stream is laggy a bit. We do apologize for that. We are getting terrible upload speed, so we have decided to do the audio. Still, what I'm going to try to do is actually commentate it more radio-based than television-based. So I'm going to try avoid using the screens whatsoever because it's obviously going to lag or there'll be a 2-3 second delay, which we want to avoid. So welcome to your 2017 Super Cup radio audio stream. I'm here, like I said, my name is Adam Zawada, and I will be commentating this whole weekend for you, here to make life easier for you and to hopefully make sure you know what is going on. We just want to say thank you again to the Emerald Casino, which is great. Our head ref for the day is Rob de Vries. He's the one controlling what is happening out in the bigger scheme of things there. And we're going to make sure, remember there's 68 teams in total at this Super Cup. A huge turnout. 34 3-man teams and 34 5-man teams. At the moment, the division we are going to be talking about is the Afcon Cup. Your next set of games is Western Province with African Gauteng under 19s and Gauteng men's first open team versus Asale Libreville. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back when those players have sorted themselves in the pits. We did just get a burst O-ring, but that's obviously part of the trade. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Paintball Super Cup 2017, hosted by the SARPL, which is your South African Regional Paintball League. Our venue is the beautiful Emerald Casino right here in Vanderbijl Park, just south of Johannesburg. My name is Adam Zawada. I will be your commentator for the day and the weekend, trying to keep you in the loop as much as possible and abreast of events as they unfold. As we mentioned on the Facebook live feed, there is a bit of an issue with the video. The sound is working, the video is lagging. We are getting terrible upload speeds. We do apologize for that. So I'm essentially going to be trying to do your radio. I'm going to radio commentate it for you to try and explain it away from the screens because of the lagginess of the screens. English, apologies. The weather, it rained for days, affecting the playing field quite a bit, but it has started to, the sun has peaked up and coming out, which is much, much better. The rain didn't affect any of the players, though. Everyone was very keen and smiling and very keen to get involved. Our head ref for the day is Rob de Vries, controlling everything as on the field that you will see or hear from me respectively. Our next set of games on the Planet Eclipse Paintball Shop Centurion 5-man field that they sponsored is Western Province versus Gauteng Under-19 team, and then the second round of that is the Gauteng Men's Open Side versus Asale Libreville. So that game should kick off soon, and when it does, we will definitely make sure to keep you in the loop. Again, for the last time, we do apologize that the video is lagging. Again, it is up to the upload speed and not us. You are watching the African Federation Group A, which is the division we were watching. From about 12 o'clock we will be moving on to Division 4, and later in the afternoon, just after 3, we are running a bit late, to be frank, so if you are following the schedule, we do apologize. We will be looking at the Challengers Div 3 on a Friday, a beautiful Friday in December. We hope you're on leave. If not, we hope you're listening in the office, making things happen and getting involved. If you couldn't make it, we miss you. It's been a great turnout so far, with about 68 teams in total, so a very large turnout. 34 3-man teams and 34 5-man teams, so make sure to stay tuned in and not miss anything. Remember, the 5-man field was sponsored by Planet Eclipse and Paintball Shop Centurion, and Blades and Triggers sponsored the 3-man field, which is happening constantly concurrently to the 5-man. So before that game goes off, we're going to take a quick breather, and we'll be back in a few seconds just to make sure that we keep you abreast of everything. Again, my name is Adam Zawada, and it's been an absolute pleasure. I'll be right back. Welcome back to the Paintball Super Cup 2017, hosted by the SARPL, which is your South African Regional Paintball League. We are at Emerald Casino, and we have our next game starting in the next few seconds, which is Western Province versus Gauteng U19 men's team. There's the 10-second countdown clock you can hear in the background. Gauteng going right to left with Western Province left to right. Gauteng having a calm break, whilst Western Province very aggressive, sliding a man all the way to the second Dorito on the left-hand side of the field. Gauteng men have a player in Snake 1 moving up. Gauteng drops a man already at the tall rocket right at the back. Western Province also has a player in Snake 1. Gauteng having a player at the tall rocket right at the back and making sure that there's no confusion happening between the two of them there. The communication on Gauteng's men between the Gauteng under-19 seem a bit lackluster, not communicating as much as they probably should, whilst Western Province being very loud and making sure that their whole team knows where everyone is constantly. No one up at the 50-man wall at the moment, but a Western Province player on Dorito 2 at the Dorito 50 actually getting very involved. There is no one on the Gauteng Snake side, on the Gauteng under-19 side. He's completely backed off and ran out to the far corner pocket under the rocket. Western Province now at Snake 50, laying lots of covering fire. A big exchange happening between the two of them. Gauteng loses their corner pocket man aggressively, and Western Province have taken it. Look at that. They're taking their time, winding down the clock, not being checked yet by the umpires, and there we go. Completely tapped in. The umps will come and check him now to make sure that the point does get awarded correctly, and then we'll move on from there. The next round will be the Gauteng men's open side versus Asale Libreville. The refs are going up to check the Western Province player, make sure that he is alive and that there wasn't a shot hit, so there's no infringement there. So far so good though. Let's see what happens. Point approved to Western Province right there. They take the lead 1-0. I can't see the timer directly in front of me, so we will get that information in a moment. On your next round, though, we do have Gauteng men's open side against Asale Libreville. 10 seconds there. Asale Libreville on the right to left, and Gauteng men's left to right. There's your break. Asale Libreville being very calm, not too aggressive, whilst Gauteng men's very aggressive off the break, dropping a man in Dorito 1, the 50 wall, and then two men in the corner pocket. Gauteng men's losing a player there. They've dropped the player back to the far temple. Asale Libreville, 2 on the Snake side, 1 in the center, and 1 on Dorito. I have no eyes on the 5th player, unfortunately. A lot of fire being exchanged across the whole field. Both teams keeping to their own sides. There is a player out on the Gauteng side though. The 50 man still being very involved there. Asale Libreville moving a player up to the 50. We have a player on each side of the 50 wall. We will see if there is an exchange between the two. Both teams playing a bit more defensively now after an aggressive push-up on both sides. Asale Libreville have a snake man in the corner rocket, and then still back at the far temple. Gauteng men's have it at the corner cans, Dorito, and the 50-man wall. A lot of 45-degree fire being exchanged between the two of them at the moment. The refs keeping a weather eye out. A ref on the Dorito side just got pinged on the side of the head. That always hurt. There's an exchange at the 50 wall. Asale Libreville loses the 50 wall, and Gauteng men's move up to the Libreville side of Dorito 2. 45 being exchanged. Asale lose another player. Gauteng men's moving up. That does look, yes, Gauteng men's have kicked out Asale Libreville, taking their time, moving up to claim the point. A very well constructed attack formation there by the Gauteng men's squad. They're eating up the clock at the moment. That round only took about 1 minute and 40 seconds between the two of them. So a nice, well thought out plan of attack there. Asale Libreville struggling, frankly, to really keep up and make sure. They had a very defensive outlook, which then seemed to bite them rather than help them. Gauteng men had a very good exchange at the 50 wall, not losing a player in the exchange, but making sure Libreville loses another. Gauteng men's still wasting time. No conceded points there. Tau. There is the conceded
Point
point by
approved. 30
Libreville.
seconds.
And the point approved. That makes it 1-0 to Gauteng men's open side. Back on the field now will be Western Province versus Gauteng under 19
20
side.
seconds.
Yeah. So then that will be Western Province versus Gauteng under 19s. Western
10
Province
seconds.
will be right to left and under 19 Gauteng left to right. The current score at the moment is 1-0 to Western Province, I believe. A very aggressive break by Western Province and Gauteng, both teams being very aggressive. Gauteng dropping a player in Snake 1 and now Western Province dropping one in as well to make sure that they're keeping that Snake side. I do not have eyes on the far Dorito side to tell you what is happening there. No player on the 50-50 wall at the moment. They're still staying on the outside of them. A Western Province player moving up to Snake 2 on the near side of the field from your right to left. A lot of pressure being put down on him. Can't move forward whatsoever. There's also a Gauteng player in Snake 1. The corner pocket of the Snake is controlled by Western Province at the moment. A lot of fire being exchanged down the Snake side. I have no idea what's happening on the Dorito side, to be frank. Snake 1, Snake 2, both sides of the field being occupied by Western Province and Gauteng respectively. There has been some bodies that have dropped, but I cannot keep count of them at my current location. Gauteng under 19 have a man at the back corner can, the large can, as do Western Province in the temple there. A lot of fire. I'm sure you must be hearing it in the background. A lot of fire being exchanged here. Gauteng under 19 boy moving up to Snake 2. He's almost at the 50, being nice and aggressive. I'm trying to use it. A ref checking the Gauteng player now at Snake 2. Cleared to play. He's still live and he's throwing 45s back into the temple. Western Province is leading 1-0. There's about 7 minutes left on the clock there. It does seem that the advantage at the moment is Gauteng under 19s. They seem to have the more dominant position and holding the lanes. Or, unfortunately, now Gauteng under 19s lose their Snake player, freeing up the Snake completely. Now Western Province move up a player straight up to the 50 man and move a player all the way down to Snake 1 on the Gauteng under 19s. They have taken the field. Lack of gunfire proves it, yes. Western Province comes out of nowhere after Gauteng under 19 men looked like they had the upper hand. Tau. Gauteng under 19 concede the point and Western Province go up to 0. There's about 6 minutes 33 left in that round. The next match, the players already getting ready and going to their respective corners. It's the Gauteng men's open side right to left and Asala Libreville left to right. The current score there is, if I remember correctly, waiting for the screens to update. Asala Libreville is down 0-1 to the open side of Gauteng. Western Province in that previous round did a very good game of coming back when they seemed to not have the upper hand. Also, that there's 10 seconds left in the break. That should be kicking off very soon. I'm going to take a quick breather, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Approved. 30 seconds.
Point approved to Western Province. I'm sure you heard in the background. There's the 30-second counter as well. So the men
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
10 seconds.
10-second countdown. Gauteng right to left and Asala Libreville left to right. Gauteng 1-0 up. Let's see what happens. Gauteng changing their approach, coming in with an aggressive break, dropping a man to the 50, a man to Snake 1, Dorito 1, and the tall center can. Asala Libreville playing a bit more defensive, already losing a man from the back. It looks like it's a 5-4 advantage at the moment. A lot of fire being exchanged. The man on the 50 for Gauteng giving himself a lot of open V's and channels to shoot 45 degrees across. The ref checks the Asala Libreville player at the tall back center can. He's live and clear to play. Gauteng lose a player. He's accidentally shot by his own player. That's what you get for running in your own, in your player's line. You have to be a lot more careful than that. Gauteng move a player up into Snake 1. They've also got the tall can right at the back open, making sure they lay down covering fire. Asala Libreville have lost a second, if not a third player. Gauteng still have the 50 man up, laying a lot of 45 fire down, which is really causing a lot of problems. Unless they change that up, Asale Libreville might go down 2 points. 3 alive. Yes, 3 alive on Gauteng's side. I cannot tell Asale Libreville's, to be honest. Gauteng moving a player up into the Snake 2 position. They have the 50 and then a player in the Dorito 2, Dorito 3, 50 area. Still playing a lot of fire being thrown on that Dorito side of the field, which is where I don't have any vision. Gauteng move a player into Snake 2 position, playing a lot of 45. A Gauteng player moves up very aggressively. There doesn't seem to be an exchange. And wait, there was. Asale Libreville wiped out Gauteng open side, moving up. Asale Libreville conceding the point there, meaning that Gauteng men's open side go 2-0 up. 30 seconds until the next round, which will be your Gauteng under-19 squad versus Western Province. Western Province leading there 2-0 at the moment. So a lot of whitewashes happening at the moment, unless some points can get clawed back. 10 seconds. There's your break. The Gauteng men's under-19s with an aggressive run up to Dorito 2. They've got 2 players in the corner Snake pocket, and Western Province having 2 players in the corner pocket as well. No one in Snake at the moment, no one on the 50. A lot of action on the Dorito side of the field at the moment. Gauteng having 2 players on the Dorito side, playing across the map, interesting enough, and not along the lane. The Western Province players moves up into the Snake 2 position. It doesn't seem that anyone knows he's there. I retract that. He's getting laid down. Lots of covering fire. An under-19 Gauteng boy moves up to Dorito 2 on the far side of the field. I can't tell the body count at the moment, to be honest. But dominantly, considering it's 2-0 to Western Province, it does look like they have the upper hand. The ref checks the Snake 2 position on Western Province. He is live and clear to play. Western Province is playing a bit more defensively. They've got 2 men back at the short temple and tall temple on the Dorito side. There's about 5 minutes left of the game, so they are going to try and eat the time up. I retract that because clearly a Western Province moves up to Snake 2, almost to the Snake 50, being very aggressive, laying fire across to the Gauteng 45, who's at Dorito 2. A lot of fire being exchanged towards one another. There's a lull in the play, as you can hear from my voice as well. Everyone being a bit more defensive, having to see what happens. The Western Province player looks like he really wants to move up. He's throwing a lot of fire. The Western Province player from the Snake side corner moves up into the pocket. The same Western Province player moves up into Snake 50. They have a player up at the wall, and Gauteng men playing very defensively, playing a 50-50 game, and they lose a player. He's got pipped on the head. That was a great shot down the Dorito line. A lot of fire going 50-50 across the field, meaning that the commentary booth is being hit by paintballs. I've not been hit yet, but I call it lucky. Gauteng lose another player. Western Province move up, and that is Gauteng eliminated. They are taking their time, trying to waste some time, unless the point gets conceded, which it hasn't. Let's see. They still haven't gone up to check the point yet. Let's see what happens. 4 minutes left in this game. There we go. Point conceded by Gauteng. No, not point conceded. He tapped the ball. He tapped the home base there, rather, so to speak. He's getting checked now by the umpire. Apologies, that's my fault. I was expecting the point to be conceded, to be honest, because it made sense. Time is 14:18. We're waiting for the point confirmation.
Point approved. 30 seconds.
There we go. Point approved. Western Province 3-0 at the moment to Gauteng under-19 side. What will happen?
20 seconds.
And then we'll have to see, because if they win by 4, if Western Province win their next one, they win with a whitewash, so that then it won't go to time. But moving on to your next game, 10 seconds. Gauteng open men versus Asale Libreville. Libreville playing right to left. Gauteng left to right. A very aggressive break by Libreville again, moving a man up straight to the 50, and they've got 2 men at the back, so they've gone with a very balanced approach and trying to keep it balanced. Libreville lose 2 straight off, no one off the break. A Libreville player getting checked out, that's 3 out, they've only got 2. Gauteng playing defensive once again, nothing too aggressive. I can't tell their body count. Libreville loses a 4th. They have 1 man alive at the moment. Gauteng have 2 at the base, making sure that they're not being too aggressive. They're happy to obviously soak time. That score being 2-0, if I believe correctly. They've got the man deep on the far side. Finally moving a man on the snake side. At snake 1 still. There's about 4 minutes left. No, I lied. That's from the previous game. 5 minutes left. Yeah, 5.5 minutes. The score is 2-0. So Gauteng will be happy to take their time. No need to rush it. Libreville only having the 1 player open, making sure that if something can be wrought by this player, he can maybe bring something back. Gauteng moving up aggressively, almost gets split on the 50. He moves all the way into the far side Libreville corner.
Towel.
Had an exchange, wins it. A solid Libreville concedes the point.
30 seconds.
Meaning Gauteng men's leading 3-0. So the men's side doing very well whilst the under-19s are struggling, to be honest.
20 seconds.
20 seconds, the teams are getting into their positions. Remember, if Western Province win this point, it is a whitewash, winning 4-0.
10 seconds.
Western Province right to left and the under-19 Gauteng side left to right. Let's see how these breaks pan out. Western Province with a calm break again, nothing too aggressive. They lose 1 off the break, straight off the bat. They have a player up in snake 2. Gauteng playing a bit more calm themselves, moving a player into... I've completely lost him. I don't know where he is. He was a Gauteng under-19 player, was trying to move up into the snake 2 position, but got caught out as he moved into position. It looks quite balanced on a 3-3 setup or 4-4. Western Province have 2 players on the Doritos. They have lost another one, so it is 2. I can see 3 at the moment. Gauteng playing defensively again. The under-19s staying at the corner, at the center can, and Dorito 1. A lot of fire being exchanged, but no one moving up at the moment. How is this going to pan out? Remember, if Western Province win this, they win whitewash 4-0. Communication lacking on the under-19 side. Maybe their youth is being a problem at the moment. About 3 minutes left in this round. 3-0 to Western Province. The refs checking a Western Province player, making sure that he is alive, and he is. Finally, Gauteng with a bit of aggression. The under-19 boy moves up to the 50 wall. With a bit of aggression, he's got the 45 on the snake. The communication a bit better. He's being checked by the ref at the moment. He is live. The ref runs for his life, but he still takes one on the shoulder. That 50 wall Gauteng man causing a lot of problems for Western Province, not allowing any aggressive movement, and he's dominating that lane all the way to the Dorito side. Western Province taking their time though, not rushing it, making sure to take it. Wall is out. Western Province, after a nice little exchange, takes him out there. There should only be 1 man left on the side of Gauteng. There's a bit of fire to clarify it. Western Province moving up with 3 at the snake 50, Dorito 50, and the wall 50. A lot of fire being thrown into that can on the Dorito side at the furthest back. That is Western Province wiping out Gauteng under 19s. Taking his time, walking up to take the point. That is a whitewash by Western Province with 2 minutes to spare. It should be 4-0, obviously, after the refs check for the point.
Towel.
Doesn't even get that far with a
Point
conceded.
30 seconds.
With a conceded point, that means Western Province have beaten Gauteng under 19 team 4-0. A bit of a whitewash, a bit of youth struggling there against the
20
experience
seconds.
of Western Province men. Now, Gauteng's men's open side is playing a Sala Libreville. There we go, a big break by Gauteng. They want to wrap this up quickly, pushing a man straight up to the 50. Libreville with the same concept. They've got 2 men on the wall. Libreville loses their 50 wall man. The rest of the Gauteng men standing further back, not as aggressive. Libreville also now staying calm and not being too aggressive themselves. I must note that apparently this Gauteng under 19 side, it was the first time they've played together in any form of major competition. So they did do a very good showing, but you can see they still need a lot of work going forward. I think probably as individuals they played very well and struggled with a team dynamic. Gauteng open side playing very defensively, winning 3-0. There's about 4.5 minutes left in this round. They have no reason to rush. Asala Libreville playing very defensively as well. At the back can, and the back temple and back Dorito line can as well. The ref's checking the Gauteng player on the Dorito side. He is alive. Asale Libreville moves a player up to the 50 wall. Moves a man up to the 50 wall. The communication by the Gauteng men at the moment is absolutely spectacular. Very clean, very clear. Everyone knows their role. Everyone knows their job. Always making sure to spot the Libreville players before they move. Libreville tries to move a player up into Snake 1, but he gets put down. He does manage to survive, but he has retreated back to the half can on the defensive side of the map. Libreville then does manage to get one into Snake 1. Lots of pressure. The wall, so it is 3-3 at the moment. A nice exchange there. Gauteng out, Libreville lose one. They have the wall and the player at Snake 1. He's about to move in aggressively there to see what he can do. A big exchange happening at the back of the field. Gauteng lose their Dorito 1 player. They only have their center can left. It's a 2-1 favor of Asale Libreville. Look at that. Never mind. Gauteng loses their last player. Asale Libreville seems to be clawing one back. If he's alive with the point check and make sure the point is conceded, it should be 3-1. Let's see what happens after the check. Being checked by the ref now. It looks like Asale Libreville might pull back a point here. It's worth noting as well that there's only been one infringement so far in the whole tournament, and it was a minor yellow flag.
Point approved. 2 minutes.
Point approved. 2 minutes left on this round of games between Gauteng men's and Asale Libreville. They did very well to come back with a point there. It did look like Gauteng had the upper hand, but it seemed like some very good individual performance by Asale Libreville. We are going to take a quick break. It's 2 minutes until the Gauteng men's and the Asale Libreville come back. Obviously, Western Province beating the under-19s 4-0 means that there is a bit of a breathing room. Don't go anywhere. Remember, you are watching the Paintball Super Cup 2017 presented to you by the SARPL, the South African Regional Paintball League. We are coming live from Emerald Casino. The weather is a bit confusing at the moment because it's hot, cold, and it is there. Anyway, the paintball is great irrespective of the weather. Don't go anywhere. Cool, the 10-second counter now.
10 seconds.
We are going Asale Libreville versus Gauteng men's open side 3-1. Let's see what happens with the break. Asale Libreville coming aggressive from your right to left once again, losing one off the break. Gauteng going with a half aggressive, half chilled, extra aggressive, I lie. Moving a player straight up into the Dorito side of the opposite Asale Libreville side. They lose him there. Asale Libreville loses a second player. Gauteng men, after a very aggressive one player, kept the rest back. But they are communicating great. A lot of communication happening between them again. Asale Libreville loses a third player, if not a fourth. He's declared live by the ref. Gauteng men's move a play up into Snake 2, throwing across 45. Excuse me, we're just talking.
Towel.
Point conceded. Asale Libreville with their aggression getting
Point
picked up
approved.
a
2
lot
minutes.
off the break. A 2-minute break again. The Gauteng men's side leading 4-1. They are just too much to handle at the moment. Their communication is on point. They are really running aggressive lines. They seem to have a very nice balance between one or two players playing very aggressively and the rest then sitting back. But we'll be right back. There's about 40 seconds left for Asala Libreville and the Gauteng men's open side to get into their starting positions. Gauteng men's will be going right to left and Asala Libreville left to right. As you heard, 30 seconds. Asala Libreville left to right. They will. This point is very important because if Asala Libreville do lose it, Gauteng men's win by 4,
20 seconds.
Being 5-1. There's about 2.5 minutes left of this round. So let's see what happens. The 10-minute countdown should be happening right about now.
10 seconds.
Here we go. A nice aggressive break again by both teams. Both teams throwing men up to the 50s. They're on opposite sides. One looking left, one looking right. Oh, that was a great play. The Asala Libreville was very unlucky. Made sure to get the Gauteng man out on the exchange on the wall, but losing his own life in the process. No one on, I lie, there's an Asala Libreville on Snake 1 at the moment. No one on the Snake 1 at the moment for Gauteng men's. Gauteng men's doing their tactical defensive roles at the moment. Asala Libreville again being a bit more aggressive than they probably should be in this scenario. Gauteng men's moves a player up to Dorito 2 on the far side. A lot of fire from Asala Libreville. Gauteng men's taking their time, breathing, moving a player up into the Snake 2 position at the moment. Has he been spotted though is the question. A lot more aggressive, a huge exchange, a tumble over one of the bunkers. He does lose his life, he is out. A very excited boy there, man, jumping over some bunkers. The ref's fixing the bunkers there, but essentially what that means is, I have no idea. The refs are involved. There's a Gauteng player alive. Asala Libreville has been kicked out. He will. Asala Libreville lose 5-1. Gauteng men's doing very well, almost getting the whitewash-like province before them, but not there, unfortunately. Again, Asala Libreville did well to claw back the 1 point. It just seemed that their tactics didn't work. They were a bit too aggressive. Their individual exchanges weren't worth it. Gauteng men's very happy.
Game finished.
Gauteng men's very happy with that win. Their first points of the day. Also making sure that that point is approved. So that's their first points. As mentioned, the ref's just checking him there. Again, we're going to take a quick breather. Your next set of games is the Gauteng men's playing again against KwaZulu-Natal. Then the under-19 boys come back against Eastern Cape. The under-19 boys, this is their first tournament playing together. Let's hope that they do manage to show a bit of a stronger showing than against Western Cape. But as mentioned, it is their first competition together, so let's see where they can come back. KwaZulu-Natal playing very well earlier. I can't remember if they won or lost the earlier points. I'll have to double check that information for you. But we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. My name is Adams Water, and stay tuned to Paintball Super Cup 2017.
Stopping us, fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let them know who you are. Flying up in a bar, wish on a star. Time to show them who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. shooting, shooting, shooting shots. Shooting stars, shooting stars, shooting stars, shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass.
Welcome to your Paintball Super Cup 2017 right here at the Emerald Casino. Your next set of games that is happening is a Gauteng men's versus KwaZulu-Natal and the Gauteng under-19 side versus the Eastern Cape. Let's hope that the under-19 side can step up a little bit. They were whitewashed by Western Province 4-0, but there was a lot of positives for a group of boys who who for the first time played together in their first competition. So Gauteng men's just came off a very convincing win from Libreville where they won 5-1. We are going into the next set. We are still on the Afcon Cup for the next two sets before we go to Division 4 or Division 5. As mentioned, we are at the Emerald Casino. The weather is being very confusing at best. I would call it bipolar. It is sunny and hot or completely cold and breezy. The field is starting to dry up a bit, which goes a long way. The refs just had a bit of a bite to eat and a breather. They are struggling in all their gear. The men, all the players are getting ready in the pits respectively. Our cameramen are also struggling for whatever reason they're struggling. I'm busy watching Mikey, our one cameraman, struggling with his mask for safety. Obviously, safety is important, but it's never a good thing if you can't get it on when you're needed. So, Mikey, we wish you luck with the mask and hope you get it right. The scoreboard, our tech issues seem to still be a bit wonky with the screens and the upload speed. We do apologize. We are going to try some secondary measures to see what we can do. Our head ref for the day is Rob de Vries. Remember, there's 68 teams here at today's Super Cup. That is a hell of a turnout. My name is Adam Zawada, and I shall be your commentator for the following few days respectively. Again, as I mentioned, Gauteng men's coming off a win from Libreville will now be tackling KwaZulu-Natal and the under-19s looking for a stronger showing against Eastern Cape. If you need any information, go to www.paintballresults.com and you can find your favorite teams, schedules and scores as they get updated live. Just click on Super Cup 2017. As mentioned, the weather is a bit better. I've lost everything I've needed now. I was looking for something on the table and I've lost it. So I'm actually going to take a quick breather and we'll be right back with a live stream of the next game, which is Gauteng men's versus KwaZulu-Natal. See you soon. Welcome back to your Super Cup 2017. Your next set of matches is the Gauteng Men's Open Side versus KwaZulu-Natal. I also have Eugene Janssen van Rensburg, the owner of the Paintball shop Centurion, and also the Brutal Affliction team owner. Is that correct?
Seconds.
Coach, captain, everything.
Coach, captain, everything. There's the 10-second countdown for the Gauteng men. Eugene's helping me commentate. Let's see this break. A big break coming out from the right to the left-hand side, which is your KwaZulu-Natal team. Gauteng men have a man on the 50. Eugene, what can you see happening?
Oh, a very impressive break from there from the Gauteng team. Alex Aldini going to the 50 as he usually does. We'll try and get the pick off for the back players to make the moves up to the field. Into the snake. There goes snake one looking in the field, trying to get the more shots onto the player side.
A KZN player is being checked by the ref at the moment to see if he's alive, and he's out. And a yellow flag infraction by the KwaZulu-Natal team for playing on after being shot. Gauteng moving up past that 50 wall into the Dorito side, moving up very aggressively. Eugene?
Yeah, and Billy finished. Talbin thrown, meaning the KwaZulu-Natal team conceded the point, meaning 1-0 Gauteng.
And that infraction?
Infraction, the yellow flag basically means is that you get shot and you play on with a minor penalty.
Point approved.
He'll
30 seconds.
leave the field along with one of his buddies.
So that means KZN start the next round with how many players?
Luckily, they had one person, 2 pools, so they'll start with 5 players.
20
Very
seconds.
cool. The 20-second mark for the Gauteng under-19s versus the Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape's previous game, they did win 2-1 against Western Province. That
Seconds.
went overtime. That was a very interesting game. How do you think the under-19s are going to do?
And the 90s are going to struggle because it's a pretty good team, but Eastern Cape are a bit of a blind dog here. No one really knows what they're going to do. So, but I think one will go up to Eastern Cape this game.
Very much. Eastern Cape taking a defensive stance. No one too aggressive there. Gauteng managing to put a player against the 50 wall. And one in Snake. Is that Snake?
Snake three.
Snake 3, yes.
Snake three.
Almost up to the 50 there.
That's a little Alex there playing. Plays Allstars 2 in the Challengers division. A young kid, but he's got some good talent.
Very good. Gauteng have been very aggressive, but sometimes to their own detriment under 19.
That's just a bit of inexperience. They always trying to push too far, take the extra step, that ends up costing them the game. But with that, they learn from experience and they'll just game from there.
No, very much so. Eastern Cape finally putting a player into Snake 1. A lot happening there. A lot of focus infield at that 50 wall player. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Eastern Cape, you're mentioning a dark horse there.
Yes, because there are players that play here in Gauteng that play for different teams, but not many people have seen them play as a unit. They play a very slow style of paintball, which is difficult for the Gauteng guys to compete against, because up here we play a lot quicker. But it looks like the under-19s have the advantage at the moment, having little Alex here in the Snake 50. Got the 50 player there putting pressure on the Drew side, and Lizzie is here.
On Snake 3 at the 50. Snake 50,
Yeah,
they've got
so-
the 50 wall and the Dorito player on the far side doing very well. And no guns happening at the moment. It looks like under 19s have taken it.
Yes, you see players walking off on both sides, but it looks like little Alex is going to go searching for the last player.
Yeah, he's probably hiding on the Snake side can by the looks of it with our vision of what we can see on the field. No, everyone's gone. They were just being super cautious, which is clever.
Yes, 1-0 Gauteng on a 19.
Do you think they'll take the time, or
They'll probably just check them, see if there's no shots on them, and they'll take the points.
because there's no rush by the under 19
No
to
rush,
claim
it's
the point?
all about time management. You want the other team to buzz it, you don't have to take the chance of hanging a dirty hang.
Very much so. Remember, when we do come back after this point is confirmed, if the under 19s are live, we come back to the Gauteng Men's Open against KwaZulu-Natal, who had an infraction.
Yes, like I said, luckily that infraction doesn't really count towards the next point, but they lose that whole point for them just because being 3 versus 5 in any game is going to be tough.
It must be noted that the Gauteng Men's Open side won that point in just shy of 41, 42, 43 seconds.
43
a very
seconds.
quick round there.
Very quick round. It's kind of expected because the players on the Gauteng men's first team are a lot more experienced than anybody else here. So you at the very least expect them to win this game.
Point approved. 30 seconds.
As you hear in the background there, Eastern Cape conceding with Town, giving the point to the under 19 side when we thought the Eastern Cape would take the first one.
20 seconds.
It was well done to the 19th. Good stuff, good showing there, good solid base to build on from now.
The aggression looked a lot better there
Yes,
as well.
it did.
That it worked as a
More
tactic.
control, it's more controlled.
10 seconds.
Now Gauteng will be starting on the right hand side of the field. Dini, Billy, Brett, Johan, and our local players.
Definitely. Let's see what Zulu Natal can do here. They are a point down. A big break by Gauteng, which is against their normal run of play. Normally they play a lot more defensive. A Gauteng player being checked and judged alive by the ref. The 50 wall rushing up. KZN losing 2 players by the looks of it. We can't see the rear side.
Dini takes the wall for Gauteng men's. Johan jumping into the snake 50. Very aggressively on the snake side. That's his style of play. To see if he gets a cross on the other side. Brett for the character wall, for the character playing the wall. Trying to help Johan, get some pressure off him and push into the snake side, looks like it.
Gauteng just loses a player to 3. KZN, we don't have vision. They do have the snake bunker at the moment. The snake can covered, so let's see where they go from there. This is very aggressive for normally.
See, there's a snake corner. His last alive is going to be a bit tough for him against 3 players. There they come in.
Towel.
There's the towel. The 30-second break should be
Point approved.
Point is approved. Gauteng men go 2-0. They are
looking very strong. They're
currently looking great. There's no doubt about it.
30
You
seconds.
see, the players, even though they're not playing for the same teams, they practice against each other a lot, so they know each other well. So they just kind of feed off each other and just make moves happen.
The 20-second mark now.
20 seconds.
Their communication, though, is great. We cannot take away from that. They're communicating really well.
That's just down to experience, because as you can see down the 19s when they're on the field, they'll be
10 seconds.
very quiet because they get a bit flustered. When it gets too much, they get silent. But they'll learn from this. They'll grow.
It's a learning curve.
It's
at
a
that. We are looking at the under-19s from your right to left, and then with Eastern Province coming back, trying to make sure they get a point back from left to right. Both teams putting a man on the 50 wall, both with some aggression there.
Yes. Generally, what happens in this situation is that they will train each other. So it'll be, as I said, that Brian Dolphin, one of my brutal players, going into their side of the snake, he's going to take some man, shoot him in the back, get out of there, boy. Get out, through the 50, and he's just doing some work.
The under-19s have actually, whilst their aggression worked in the first round, has not worked this time.
It just
Eastern
looked like
Cape coming out strong.
Eastern Cape a lot of passive paintball, and it didn't work against the under-19s. Now they just switched up and pushed very hard on the snake side, and the 19s were just not ready for it.
Yeah, they had no counter there, maybe thinking the same thing would happen when that was not the case.
Yes, exactly.
The Eastern Cape busy getting checked by the refs at the moment. Let's see if that point gets approved for a 1-1 draw with 6 minutes 40 seconds left in that round.
Point approved.
It's not a lot of time for both teams to take it. This is good for the 19s. See how they can jump up the next point from this, because that was a pretty quick point.
Yeah.
So let's see if they can just get their heads clean, get their nerves calm, and this hopefully they can pull back and make it a tight game.
Yes, definitely. The Gauteng men's coming back onto the field leading 2-0, but before we go anywhere, wait for your 30-second mark.
30 seconds.
Gauteng men's leading 2-0 with over 8 minutes left to play. Will it be a whitewash of KZN, or will KwaZulu-Natal come back, Eugene?
As a Gautenger and
20 seconds.
some of my players, they being a Gauteng team, I would like a whitewash, but just for entertainment value, just hope they can pull back to a 2-2 and maybe play overtime.
10 seconds.
But I doubt that will happen.
Definitely. Gauteng coming from your left to right. KZN right to left. Let's see how the break. KZN very aggressive off the break. 2 players move up. They lose 1 off the break. Gauteng being a bit more calm. They do have the player up on the 50 wall.
Yeah, Dini to the 50 is pretty standard for any team he plays for. He'll try to get that quick and maybe trade. As I said, that he trades with the other 50 player. So that puts his team at automatic advantage. Having a 4v3 is much easier than a 5v4.
Agreed, and it was a very good exchange not to lose his own life doing it as well. Very aggressive. I've noticed the under-19s, the open first side comes out very aggressive with 1 or 2 players, and then the rest are very
It's all about containment. It's all about containment, making the guys that containing it open for the guys attacking. So it's all that all just comes from years of experience, years of practice of blood and sweat.
I can imagine KZN feeling very pushed down at the moment. They clearly are struggling a touch, but Gauteng looking firmly in control. They do have a player on the far Dorita side in the far temple, and then one in snake somewhere. One in the snake. We do know he's there, we're just not sure which one.
Yeah, the Gauteng guy there, the snake 3 wings. Not sure who that is at the moment.
KZN, after a very aggressive break, have completely had to change their style and play defensively because they're lacking power.
Yeah, their body's down, they've got field position, which means they can cross it up. But it's just a matter of time before the snake guy is going to pinch them out. Brett from Nikak moving down into the rear of 3. and now this Snake Temple from KZN is back in my team pretty soon.
What's very good though is Gauteng do have the upper hand, changing the game up, but can KZN feel the pressure at the moment? There is still a lot of time left, so they will want to eat the clock and try not to concede the point.
Yeah, so this is where whoever's in charge has to make a decision. Oh, okay, wait. Now, as I say, that Brett drops, but so they have to make a decision. They either need to win this point, they be sure to win this point, or concede to give them enough time to come back. But it looks like KZN are taking this point, so...
Yes, look at that. Coming out defensively and bringing it back. They are moving up to the buzzer to try and take the point. He will get checked.
First get checked, but... That was a good play from the guy here in the Snake Temple, soaking up a lot of pressure. With the help of his Snake corner, he was able to pinch up the rear side, which helped him finish off in the Snake side.
Which now means that the Gauteng men's only lead 2-1, which gives the KZN a lot of time with 6 minutes 20 left on the clock to come back.
A lot can happen.
Very much.
A lot can happen in 6 minutes.
We're still waiting for that point confirmation.
Point approved. 30 seconds.
As I mentioned it, now the under-19s and the Eastern Cape men's are 1-1 with 6 minutes 40 on the clock. You didn't wait for the 20-second counter.
20 seconds.
There you go. Okay, so this is going to be 1-1 now for Gauteng under 19s versus Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape looking really strong the previous points.
10 seconds.
Will under 19s be able to recover from it? We'll see.
Let's see if they come out aggressive or they're learning from their mistakes. Left to right, under 19s. Left. Eastern Cape coming out a bit slowly, loses one of the break. The Gauteng under 19s still quite aggressive. They have 2 players on the wall.
Oh, does he take off?
And he takes the Eastern Cape player out. Gauteng looking a bit in a stronger position here, did you?
Yes, yeah, this Eastern Cape guy has someone in the snake, but he has nobody behind him to help. He's got clipped on the mask and he's up, as I say, that leaves 5 bodies to 2, I believe. Only the Dorito side surviving for Eastern Cape, so this is great work here by the 19s. Stepping up, soaking up the pressure, looks like they're going to take this point. Little Alex here in the snake 3, looking infield, trying to get the kills on the Dorito side. We
can always tell immediately that they are aggressive, that their individual play is very good at the moment. They're just struggling to see this gel, struggling to gel. It's all about, they have not been around long together. I think they had 1 practice before this together, so they don't know anything about each other. They recently learned each other's names, so it will all come with time. Because Eastern Cape is currently pinned down and able to move. It looks like they only have the 1 player alive on the snake side. And 1 in the rear side. Yeah, 1 guy in the snake corner, he fought on the rear side, and then they've got the Dorito 1. But the Dorito 1 just got checked, he's live. Yes. Now that's Jason Bluffner, a very experienced player, plays with Wolverines in the Champions Division, has been overseas with the South African national team, so he's a very experienced player. He might be able to help with his game. The under-19s have to be careful here to be too aggressive because they can still throw this away. Yes, 1 drops now from Gauteng under-19s on the rear side. We've got 2 here in the snake, got the little Alex and Lee Crosland in the snake side, who still have the 50 bunker trying to look for those shots. They just look like they just don't know how to break this cross down because they've got the field position on the wide side bunkers looking infield, causing them not to be able to make moves. No, very true, very true. Eastern Cape showing a bit of experience matters here. You can't buy experience, so they say. Keeping in the game, winding down the clock to keep this at 1-1, maybe even able to snatch the point when the under-19s were in such a powerful position. Yeah, these 2 bunkers, the snake corner and the Dorito 1, we found in practice are your very key bunkers when you want to slow down the field. I just feel that the under-19s need to spread the field more, maybe just yet again, that's experience. Try and open the 45s up. Just try and open it up. Just try and open up the 50 to 45 angles. Just put more pressure on the snake side corner because the snake side corner is not under that much pressure, and the Dorito 1's just chilling. So they need to choose a side that they want to kill and kill that guy. And Eastern Cape is definitely not moving anywhere. So it's up to under-19s. Up to under-19s to win or take the draw. It's up to those. But if they push too hard, they might make a mistake and they might end up losing this game. Because I doubt they'll play this for 4 minutes now. Something will happen. You've been involved with 8-minute points. You've seen 10-minute points. It happens. So. Let's hope not. But the under-19s still exchanging fire with the Eastern Cape, where they have the men in the far bunkers right, very defensively. Under-19s still have the 50 wall and Snake 2 not moving up. So let's see what happens. Yes, in the snake corner we've got Lizzie. She plays in Eastern Cape obviously, but she's played overseas for this whole season. She's played for London teams, she's played for some French teams. So there's a lot of experience there, and she's just communicating with the Dorito 1 player. Both players very high experience levels.
compared to the under 19 guys.
No, very much. I have to agree with you, Eugene. The defensive player. Time is clicking down, we must add. They started this at what, 7.5 or 8 minutes, and they're at 3 minutes 15 seconds.
It's a very crucial point.
It is a big one, because if they keep drawing this out, it might be the one to win it.
Exactly, yes.
Eastern Cape, I think, are definitely showing their experience. They still have the bunkers in the defensive position. Under 19 still not moving up or doing much there. Almost costing themselves.
I think what will happen is, if by chance or whatever happens, is Eastern Cape lose one player, they'll immediately buzz to give them up to the next point. But you see now there's finally the move is made into the Dorito side, which might put on more pressure. But that's taken 2 minutes to run.
Under 19 player getting checked, being judged alive by the umpire. Eastern Cape taking a lot of fire in that Snake Temple corner, and still nothing happening and no deaths. It's still 2 minutes 30 now on the clock. The Eastern Cape player being checked there. She's doing very well.
She's doing very well, and her experience showing. She's a very strong gunfighter. That's one thing I'll give Lizzie. She's a very good gunfighter, very accurate, and yeah, so her experience is showing under 19 something.
To remind all our listeners, the score is 1-1 between Eastern Cape and Gauteng under 19. So what is going on here? The Dorito corners. Under
making a move,
Eastern Cape making a Dorito move there to try and open up the 50 wall.
He gets the ball.
Under 19 down.
Jason Blurkner there showing some experience, making the initiative, feeling no pressure on him at all, and he takes out another guy. That's stuff. GG, that's the Eastern Cape's team.
And now the Snake moves up on the under.
Towel.
Under 19's just taking too long to make the moves happen.
Points conceded, 2-1, and a lot of time
Test approved, 30 seconds.
A lot of time wasted. It was a 4v2 situation. Eastern Cape just in their bunkers, backing their gun skills, and just outplaying the under 19.
20 seconds.
And lack of movement by the under 19.
That's the biggest thing. The player that eventually falls into the lead should have done that move 2 minutes earlier, which would have taken a lot of pressure off.
10 seconds.
In the 50 snakes, so you can move up into the field and get the kills.
100%, I 100% have to agree with you. Your next set is Gauteng men's versus KwaZulu-Natal 2-1. Here's your break. Gauteng men's playing right to left. Again, that 50-50 aggression. Blipnote you mentioned is the 50 wall.
There's a Jardini on the side.
Jardini again to the 50 wall. KZN not being aggressive this time,
Shout
playing a lot
out to
slower.
Paintball, River player up in the field. They've got their Brad Funny there on the Dorito side, Temple doing some work. 250s again, you'll end up seeing them trade eventually. But obviously, 1G here for the Gauteng men's. Jan Smith dropping for the Gauteng men's, leaving the snakes open.
It does seem though that KwaZulu-Natal is now starting to ease up. Jardini getting taken out there in the exchange.
Takes one with him, yes.
Did he take the KZN player with him?
Took him with him.
Okay, so a nice little exchange there at least. But now both teams very defensively back in their own bases.
Yeah, you see Billy there in the Dorito 1 working with Brett, trying to get the kills. He's a killer on the D side. Their bodies down, I think it's 4v3, I think it is at the moment, for KZN's favour. So they need, I think the Rinky in the back centre needs to fall into the snake side to get some support.
Agreed. Lots of time to be played here, just over 5 minutes and 10 seconds. The score 2-1 to Gauteng, but it does look like KZN is coming across with a bit more power.
There's Billy going into the Dorito 4. Going to shoot cross for another G drops here from the KZN team. Looks like it's even bodies 3-3. Ricky here moving into the snake side can to get some more width from the field, putting less pressure on the front guy than just like Billy.
No, definitely. The Dorito players are bringing into greater effect in these scenarios than the snake players when it gets left alone.
Yeah, the Dorito is it's a much more aggressive side of the field. There's a lot more kill shots on that side angle. But having a presence here in the snake side just takes pressure off those guys on the Dorito side.
Completely opens the field up on the 45 split.
Makes it, yeah. So we've got two players on Gauteng men's into Dorito 1 and Dorito 4. Brett just looking to protecting Billy's back there in Dorito 4. And they'll probably hopefully end up finishing this point. We've got a Dorito player there for a KZN, and you've got a snake corner for KZN. So they've got the width as well. So it's going to go either way. It all depends who makes the mistake. Gauteng don't need to do anything. They're 1 point up, so they can play this field.
No, definitely. I do have to agree with Gauteng. With you, sorry, Eugene, that Gauteng does seem to have a bit of advantage, moving a player up to that 50 wall.
Billy actually filling from Dorito 4 into the 50. I wonder if they ever saw that, because that's not something you see all the time, so that might confuse the guys.
Well, he's given away his position now, shooting into that far corner.
But now it's a different angle they need to worry about. Now you can wrap on the D side.
A Gauteng player being checked by the ref and being judged alive. 3 minutes 30 left on the clock, so this is also a bit of a slower round like the previous one.
Yeah, it's
Towel.
Okay, so then Gauteng played that slow, that did not need to go for the
Approved. 30
So it's
seconds.
going to be 3-1 Gauteng men's.
Yes, very good. It came out of nowhere. It was very well done by Gauteng men's, taking their time and
Yeah, that was really good play.
20 seconds.
From Billy, moving from the center to the 50, just making them aware of more angles. So they have to watch another extra angle instead of only worrying about Snake and Dorito.
10 seconds.
Definitely, I definitely think the under-19s are going to come out very aggressive now to try and
Yeah.
win that
Yeah,
back.
they have
There's
to.
no time.
They need to bank on a off the break Snake with little Alex.
Gauteng again very aggressive up player onto the 50. It doesn't look like they've lost anyone on the wall on the break yet though. I can't see if Eastern Cape lost the player on the break yet, Eugene.
I can't see anything. Little Alex then Snake 1 moving to Snake 2. Got Ryan Dolphin, looks like in that center. Little Alex checking himself, he's clean, he's Snake 3.
KwaZulu-Natal player,
Eastern Cape,
KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, my fault, moves into the backhand of the centre half to try and cover that snake section.
I can see then Lizzie into the Snake 1 just to try and counter their aggression
Yeah.
with her own gun there in the Snake.
So it does seem like a 4-4 balance. I don't think all 5 are alive.
It's very even split now, you have to break. Positions are even. But I do think
60 seconds.
if the second goes, I think Eastern Cape will be able to keep them.
If
back.
they keep their heads and the under-19s don't overextend, they can maybe still pull something out here.
It's all up to the 19s to do something. Eastern Cape don't need to do anything, so it's all up to the 19s to have initiative and get those shots. As I said, that 50 player from the 19 drops, so that's going to be a body down for them. Eastern Cape in a very strong position.
And with what, 30 seconds left, no aggression being shown, keeping their heads
Yeah, there's
back.
aggression there, but from the wrong team.
Yes.
It's the Dolphin there,
And
running
they
down,
use their centre back player.
shooting 2 players there. So it's be 1v3.
Yeah, Eastern Cape loses
Eating
the
out in the face. Let's go, little Alex. Let's show them what you got. Penalty, get out of there. Oh, this might still be something to go
Might be
for.
15 seconds left. Let's see what can happen if Alex has his brains. He must push.
Okay, no, she saw me. Oh, he might get shot. Oh, he's out.
8 seconds and he's out. Eastern Cape take it 3-0 to the under-19s, but a
No,
much
3-1.
3-1. Sorry, my apologies.
30 seconds.
That's 2-1 Eastern.
Oh, because they wouldn't have
Yes,
claimed the point.
yes.
You're right, Eugene. But that is a much better showing by the under-19s.
That was really good. If they had a bit more time and a little bit less rush,
20 seconds.
especially after losing such a point that they had the previous one, being 4-2 up, as a big loss to take, a big pill to swallow. So good stuff there by the 19.
10 seconds.
They're strong every time they go on the field. So good stuff.
Very good. Very good. A lot of good individual play there. We're counting men's open side versus KwaZulu-Natal.
3 minutes left.
30, like Eugene said, KwaZulu-Natal right to left with quite an aggressive break with a man up on the 50.
Yeah, man in the 50, man on the snake side tower. Yardini again into the 50 as usual. He'll end up trading with the 50. There'll be a 4v4 probably. Here comes the.
There's the trade.
There's the trade. That's a good
Yardini
trade.
down.
And the KZN guy as well.
Very
So
good eyes.
4v4.
Eugene, your eyes are great, man.
I know this game, dude. I know this game.
Fair enough. KwaZulu-Natal playing a bit more defensively after that exchange in the 50.
Yeah, but again, it's up to them to make the move. Gauteng men aren't going to try anything. They'll sit there for 3 minutes.
They do have a bit more time than the under-19s.
They have a bit more time. KZN can easily still pull this back. Gauteng has a guy here, John here in the Snake 3. They've got Andries there in the Dorito.
KZN loses a player at the back temple.
Oh, so it's 3v4 in Gauteng's favor.
Yeah. I think it's actually a 4v2, to be honest.
Here's Johan going to
A big exchange there.
Yeah.
Gauteng player is judged out, and the KZN player is still in.
Yeah, there's a bit rushed there by Johan. He should know better. He's a bit of a slip up there by him.
It was a nice little snake exchange though. They clearly knew where each other were.
Yeah.
It was nice reactions.
But the KZN guy having his legs to use at an obvious advantage of a guy playing on his belly.
Yeah, it was a very big leopard call. There is a Gauteng player now moving into
Dorito 3 as well.
no Snake 1 originally and Dorito 3 on the far side.
That's Duncan there in Dorito 3. Playing for Patriots, so in the Champions Division, another pro guy out there on the field.
The time at the moment is 1 minute 40. KZN men have to do something here. The Gauteng open side first team will be happy to lean back, but yet still move up.
Yes, yeah, guy in the mirrored bunkers, threes. They know where each other are.
Big snake trade-off right there between Gauteng and KZN now.
Yeah, it's KZN didn't have to make a move. Was
1 minute 25 seconds, 3-1 to Gauteng men's. Our cameraman just took one in the shoulder, but that's part of his life.
it's slowed down now. Gauteng just controlling the field. 2 on the Dura side, 1 on the Snake side. Easy life, easy game.
You should hear this 60-second mark in about 10 seconds. Gauteng men, like Eugene said, just taking their time, communicating very well.
And then they get another G.
There is definitely a lull.
60 seconds.
There you heard the 60 seconds, definitely a lull. And as I mentioned, that a lot of snake play happening now. KZN drops a player.
Yeah, now there's only 1 guy left for the Snake corner, and I'll just finishes off and get the extra point. There you go.
There we go,
Down
very
gets the
well
last
done.
kill.
And they go all the way to the buzzer.
And they buzz.
He will get checked. They do it with 41 seconds left on the clock instead of maybe trying to push for the concede.
Yeah, but I think they want to get the mercy victory out, just to put some status on their side, make sure people know they dominate here. People know that they're here to put everybody into the ground.
Shoot people and take names, and they're done taking names.
Slaughter people, take names. Yes.
Very good. So that score, after the point gets confirmed by the refs, will be 4-1 to Gauteng men's open side. There's still 41 seconds on the clock, so we will take a 2-minute break and then come back to play those 40
Point
seconds.
approved. 2
And
minutes.
with 40 seconds left on the clock, you can either see 2 things. Either you see people accepting the score, or you can see chaos.
A
So,
lot of aggression.
and let's see what Gauteng decide to do, and let's see what the KZN try to do. Because if both teams decide they want to go for it, who in for some entertainment.
Definitely. We're going to take a quick breather, and we'll be back at that 2-minute mark to watch the last 41 seconds of Gauteng men's versus the KZN men's. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to your Super Cup 20-second mark.
20 seconds.
We are doing the last 41 seconds of the Open Gauteng men's versus KZN men's. The score currently 4-1. In the seat with me after the 10-second mark
10 seconds.
is Eugene Janssen from Johannesburg, the Paintball shop owner in Centurion, a player, coach and manager of...
Brutal Affliction
There we
team,
go.
go for the win this year. 41 seconds, Gauteng men's breaking from the right side to the left. Anything can happen in this 41 seconds, but it looks like pretty calm at the moment.
Was that an infraction on the part of Rita side? No, the flag is still in the ref's hands.
The boy just went for a check, making sure.
Communication, even in the last 20 seconds, still very good by Gauteng men's open side.
Experience again, they're showing no matter what time of day it is, how much pressure they're under, they will keep on chatting, they will keep having conversation with them.
KZN playing to the very last, but not clearly with the fire that they would need to pull any kind of point back. Last 5 seconds.
They've kind of conceded the fact that the Gauteng means attacking this. And the Gauteng means in the
Finish.
game, looking strong and
Winning
ready.
4-1.
Winning for one.
Very good showing. Again, that was Eugene Janssen von Rensburg. That is the second game won by the Gauteng men's when they beat a solid Libreville 5-1, and now they win 4-1. Looking so strong at the moment. They clearly are the team to beat in the Afcon Cup.
Definitely 100%. They've got the most experienced players here. So South Africa has to offer a good mixture between our Pro division and our Challengers division. So they know each other, they play well, and they can play paintball.
Very good to hear. We are going to take a quick break into our next set, and we want to thank Eugene for coming down and commenting that set.
Thank you very much, and you'll be seeing me a lot this weekend.
No, definitely. That we can be sure of. Our next set is Asala Libreville versus Western Province, and the Gauteng men's 2 against Gauteng U19. That should be quite an interesting matchup between the two. We also have Michael Zen, a brutal affliction player, who will be sitting in the chair next to me, adding his insight, his 2 cents, and what he thinks how the game should pan out, how it is panning out, and also just giving me a bit of a breather because it is hot, folks. Again, the weather is completely going up and down, cannot make up its mind. Do not go anywhere. Remember to stay tuned to the Paintball Super Cup 2017. My name is Adam Zawada, and we'll be back in a bit.